Welcome back to
N.E.R.D.S.
I'm your host, Lucas, and join me is my other host,
Zackary.
And today, Zackary is going to be needlessly, endlessly ranting dumb shit about...
women in rap, and kind of most of rap history, just a very brief, 3-bullet point, but mostly rap and women in history. Because I've been getting into rap within the last 3 months, so it's been a very fun genre to... We'll talk about it later, but it's a genre soaked with history.
Yeah.
And so it's something that when you get into... Actually get into, not just I listen to 3 Drake songs, but want to get into it. There's a lot to delve into, and it's a lot of other genres where there's a lot of subgenres, and you're I don't like this one, I like these ones, so we're gonna talk about that.
So I'm not much of a listener of rap. I'm not I'm also still recently getting into rap and kind of what that culture is and what it all means. And even then, I like specific types.
That's what we're going to talk about. I enjoy very specific types of rap, and obviously, because we're talking about it, I enjoy female rap more for specific reasons, but it's all types of music. It's I love dark wave, post-punk, techno. I don't like dubstep.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I hate dubstep. It just means, well, I do hate dubstep. But yeah, there's so many different types of genre, and we're going to talk about a few of them that I'm excited because it's kind of my favorite. And I've shown you some songs, and we'll talk about it later, though. But we got a lot to talk about. I got a lot of weekly obsessions to get to.
Well, before we get into weekly obsessions, we do need to get into how we doing this week.
Yes. This week was good. Last week we talked about it. I was having a rough week, and then we were moving into a good period, which was good. Cyberpunk was fun. Dragon Realms, I thought was very fun. Stressful.
I had a blast.
Yes.
I was stressed to high hell, but I had a blast.
Yes, I made a whole map. I used half my bookshelf for buildings, and I spent 6 hours doing little arts and crafts for that map. It was very fun.
Very fun.
Combat went really well. We had a lot of danger, but ultimately winded up pretty good.
No one died.
I got you guys.
You got us close.
I got 2 of you guys making death saves. I got another one of you got down from another player. Which self-sacrifice.
Yeah. Which I could talk endlessly about the ethics of that, but
ultimately it was a hard not even a boss fight. It was a hard combat encounter that was very fun, very realistic on how things would actually play out.
It was a lot like the Kevdak encounter.
Kevdak?
From Vox Machina, where Grog has to face the herd.
Oh, yes. His uncle.
Yeah, his uncle.
It's a realistic, classes are going to play how classes play.
Yeah.
You're not going to have a wizard standing in the middle of a battlefield being I'm an enemy, attack me. It's they're going to be high up.
For sure.
They're going to be running away, getting cover, throwing the fireballs out. So, it was very fun. I seriously enjoyed it. And then Friday, I got my tattoo for my birthday. I turned 23 on Friday. Crazy. Took 6 hours. Went in at 11 p.m., left at 5 p.m.
Jeez.
Or sorry, 11 a.m., left at 5 p.m. Essentially, my entire birthday was just suffering, and then I went home, ate, and then fell asleep. So,
good birthday.
Birthday was a very quick day, but...
By the way, happy birthday, you 23-year-old.
Thank you. I feel... Honestly, I don't feel much.
Nah.
This birthday...
Birthdays didn't really bother me. The main ones that got me were when I turned 16, 18, and then recently 25. 25 specifically being a year of I'm a quarter through my life and I am gonna
For me, it's usually based on where I'm living and what I'm doing. Last year was very important to me because it was with the D&D group. My bestie got my parents down. Or maybe that was 21. No, that was 22.
That was 22.
That was last year.
That was last year. Because we were all there for that one.
The old house,
yeah.
My bestie got my mom and dad down. It was a surprise. it's less of the age I'm turning, but more of just, okay, what's happening? I was still in college. And this year was like, well, I'm graduated. Not much is happening. My boyfriend works. My best friend works. Like, it's on a Friday, so we're not doing anything for, like, D&D. So it was just kind of the day went by. I hadn't even planned to get a tattoo. I just took the day off normally. And then my tattoo artist was like, hey, I've got the 12th or the 13th free. And I was like, I've already taken off the 12th. So, other than that, work has been... I was a little nervous with my hand tat.
It does look so nice.
Working with clothing, both grabbing, like, hanging, pricing, also just the dust. But, bought a bunch of, like, Walmart cellophane. And so every day I just kind of rewrapped it.
Yeah.
She getting dry. She getting crispy. You can touch her.
She looks good.
She's getting old Manny.
She's getting old Manny.
Yeah. Just the palm, because it's... But other than that, doing pretty good. I'm excited about this week. Most of the friend group is heading to Kansas City
to go to a concert.
Heavy metal concert?
Very heavy metal concert. We're going to go see Death Clock, Dragon Force, and Necrogoblicon.
Yes, which I have no interest in, and neither does another one of my friends. So we're going to go watch Dune 2.
Yep.
For me, the third time. For him, the first time.
It's my... it'll be my first, like, real big concert, so that's why I'm, like, super pumped about it.
I would really stress that you guys bring some sort of, like, earphones or earplugs.
We planned on it. We already talked about doing that, so...
Because I know this group already has rough hearing. I don't want it to get worse.
Me especially.
Yeah. So my bestie...
Yep.
I think
it's just a product of ADHD.
Yeah. Also, who has good hearing?
I haven't known anyone with real
good
hearing.
I mean, it's like, there are very few people I know that have good eyesight. It's like, it's either you have, like, okay eyesight, or you kind of wear glasses.
I'd probably be up there. I have 20/15 vision.
Oh, nice.
So, like, it's not like, it's, like, crazy, perfect, I see everything. Well, no, it is it's beyond perfect. It's beyond 2020.
2015?
Yeah, 2015 is beyond 2020.
Oh.
So I see things a little farther and I see more detail. Like, doesn't mean I'm more perceptive or anything.
Yeah.
But it just means I, like, can actually see things in more detail.
So God balanced you out with shitty hearing.
So God balanced me out with shitty hearing.
He said you can see shit, you can't hear anything though.
Yeah. Music has to be real loud if you really want to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how are you?
I'm doing good. This week has not been bad. This week has just kind of been going through the motions. Work has been kind of nice. Which is better than how it has been recently.
Yeah, that's like 2 months.
Yeah. I've been cooking a lot more. So we
talked about that.
Yeah.
Was it on the pod? Yeah, it was on the pod. You were like, Gordon Ramsay was your weekly obsession.
Well, yeah, because I fucking love Gordon Ramsay. I'm cooking a lot more, like, at work. So I'm, like, up with everyone more. I'm talking and, like, joking a lot more. And I'm trying my best to pay a little more attention to it, because honestly, watching Kitchen Nightmares, like, last week and talking about it really kind of made me be like, no, I really do like cooking. Yeah. I just don't like restaurant cooking.
It's just the environment.
Yeah.
That you get put in.
But what was nice is I've been, my coworkers will ask for, like, will order their own food. Yeah. And then I will ask them, hey, do you want me to put a twist on it? And they'll usually be like, yeah, go for it. So, I made chorizo tacos that were, instead of chorizo, I made carnitas.
Ooh.
Added some, we have, like, this margarita salt. That's, like, spicy and good. So I added some of that on there, some diced onions. Of course, the eggs were still a part of it, because that's what our tacos are with. But I, like, fried the shells in butter. I put the cheese on the inside of the shells. Sliced up some avocado to put on top. And then I took we have a chipotle mayo that that I, like, put a little bit on, and it looked good. It was pretty tasty from what my coworker said.
So hungry now.
Yeah, we'll get food after this. You know,
maybe,
probably.
I think my boyfriend's. If it is, he'll be home early.
That's true.
Because the store's closed down. But other than that, anything else fun for you?
Other than that, I mean, the campaigns have been going good. I haven't been working too much on Gindry this week, but it's more I'm just trying to pace myself. I don't want to like push too hard on it.
Yeah.
So I've been mostly excited for the concert that's coming. That's literally happening tomorrow. And then I've been very excited for 10 days from tomorrow, which is when the next saga drops. I've been looking at clips for it and everything because of course he's been like dropping some clips.
Obviously.
Of it. And just it's gonna have literally the song I have been waiting for him to make the entire like time I've been listening to Epic. It's gonna have Monster as the closer of the act.
Ooh.
So after Underworld Saga is the end of Act 1 for the musical, and Monster's the closer. Damn. So I'm so excited to finally have it. So yeah.
Well, I guess we'll talk about it in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks, that is absolutely going to be my weekly obsession.
Could be... No, because I think in 2 weeks it'll be my episode.
But yeah, just kind of going through the motions this week. It's not been bad, not been, like, terrible. Just not been, like, exorbitant crazy.
Yeah, just
been
neutral. Good. Do you want to start with your week measly? Would you like to start with your week measly weekly obsession?
Oh, my measly weekly obsession.
Before we get to mine.
Because you have like three of them that you want to talk about?
Always. Since the beginning.
So, my weekly obsession kind of sprung because I was listening to Overly Sarcastic Productions, which I have talked about before. I love their work, especially their detailed diatribes. And they had posted a recent one of We Will Never Get Another Shadow of the Colossus. And listening to their detailed diatribe on that and like really focusing on what that meant and everything. And they talk. I am so glad to just listen to other people who love that game as much as I do. But they also talk about like other games that like try to do it but don't do it as well.
Do it what? Boss rush kind of thing?
So they talk about what made Shadow of the Colossus like so good. Yeah. And you can do a boss rush, sure, but you could never do it exactly like Shadow of the Colossus because Shadow of the Colossus is a puzzle boss rush, and I've never seen anyone else other than that game do it. Because you're literally trying to figure out how to climb, how the Colossus works. Yeah. The music was one of the main points that they were really on. Like, there's no other game that I've heard that has had the amount of, like, epic orchestral really feel like Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah. Makes sense.
And just also the environment and everything. All of it... There are many games and people who have learned from Shadow of the Colossus that have tried to emulate the feeling of it, but just fall out of it. Yeah. Like they talk about specifically Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah. Like Breath of the Wild had the divine beasts that you go around and like go into, and you know they're supposed to be these ancient old beasts, but when you really go in them, they're not that cool. Yeah. You know, they don't actually do anything.
They're just kind of baby puzzles.
And then the closest that Tears of the Kingdom gets is whenever you go into the depths, which gives you that feeling of you're not supposed to be here, and also find like bigger monsters in there, but they're not like the most dangerous, and they're more like you just hit the weak point and they'll go down. So yeah, it's interesting just like wanting a game like that. But they did talk about another game that looked interesting whenever they talked about it, and it's called The Pathless.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, this looks interesting, and it kind of has the same, I wouldn't say same vibe, but kind of like it's a boss rush kind of game. The world environment is literally just you with a bunch of corpses, like an old ancient civilization, and corpses. like scattered around, and they're literally these like deities that have been corrupted by this like main dude.
I see him.
And I was like, okay, this is interesting, and the movement looks interesting, so I wanted to try that out. Because instead of climbing, you're shooting things with your bow to move faster.
Okay.
So you're playing as the hunter. There's no name to this character. It's literally just called the hunter. She is beckoned to this like main island where the gods are to help them with this with the main bad guy who's called the God Slayer. Love it. And what's funny is the God Slayer isn't really like killing them, he's just corrupting them. He's like cursing them.
Yeah.
Also, voiced by Laura Bailey and Troy Baker. Just somehow. Like,
wow. Yeah. Joel and Abby both come together.
So I
duo I never thought I would see.
Well, I recognized Laura Bailey immediately. I was like, okay, that's Laura. Which they're speaking their own language in the game. Like, there's no.
Oh, so it's just it's
just the vocal inflections. But I didn't realize it was Troy Baker until I saw it in the credits. I was like, of course it was Troy.
He's got such a dynamic voice.
He does.
It's hard to notice him.
Especially whenever he's got, like, in a different language and he's doing much a deep, growly kind of, like, voice. I just didn't recognize him.
Damn.
But it was really good. It's a short game. Again, it's a boss rush. But what I really liked about it that Shadow of the Colossus doesn't do is you have to be careful where you go. Because so you'll see the monsters on the map. So you could basically go into different plateaus to go to these, get enough of these like pendants or whatever they are, like talismans, so you can climb up the tower that has their ancient symbols that is corrupted. There are 3 towers in each of the plateaus, and you bring the light to the tower, and once you get all 3, you can then fight the boss.
Got you.
But the boss isn't hunting you down, it's just moving.
Okay.
And the way that you see it, because it literally affects the weather, you don't see the boss until you're within, it's basically like a big red storm around the boss.
I saw some pictures of it.
Yeah. And you don't see the boss until you get into the storm.
Interesting.
And so you have this eagle companion that's the reincarnation of the main mother god, who is helping you throughout and will get corrupted. So you have to once you get caught in the storm, your eagle friend will fly off, and then you have to sneak past the bosses to try to get back to it, and the eagle friend will dissipate the storm, and the boss will go somewhere else.
Interesting.
So, and you'll always know, because there was a moment where I was inside of like a small temple to like get one of the talismans, and I start completing the puzzle. I get the talisman, and then you just start seeing red start coming into the temple, and I was like, oh god, I gotta get out of here. So I book it out of the temple, but the storm is literally to my left about to hit me. So I'm like running as fast as I can to get away from it. That's one of the coolest experience that Shadow of the Colossus, like, that was the closest I felt with another game that was like Shadow of the Colossus. It definitely was not 1-to-1, and Shadow of the Colossus is still majorly good.
Yeah.
But it gave me that same sense of dread and fear each time I met a Colossus.
That's good.
Which is good, which is what I want.
That's kind of why you play those games.
Exactly.
Is to be like, I'm fighting a Colossus.
I'm fighting something I should not be. I am small and tiny, and this thing could kill me.
Yeah.
There is no game over screen. That's the only complaint I have. There's no health bar or game over screen. Your character will just get hit and run away, or get hit and like be knocked out for a second. There's not like a consequence to being hit.
Got you.
Which is the only thing I don't like about the game so far.
Okay.
I mean, there's a few things, like the puzzles sometimes can be obnoxious, especially when you don't understand the mechanics of it all. But that was the main thing that I was like, I want there to be a consequence of me being hit by a fireball.
Yeah.
Like, instead of just like, oh, a little bit of my stamina meter goes down and I'm knocked out for a second. Like that. that doesn't give me enough satisfaction. Like, no, I got hit, I need to do better kind of thing.
Totally.
So, but yeah, that was my weekly obsession this week, is I played that game and got that little itch of Shadow of Colossus, but it wasn't the same.
Was it free, or how much?
No, it wasn't free, but it really wasn't expensive either. I think it was like $15.
Okay, not bad.
Not bad at all.
And it looked beautiful from the pictures I looked at.
Gorgeous game.
Yeah.
Cell shaded. The lighting is so dynamic. Like the boss monsters are all like this fiery red, and and the God Slayer is like corruption. The imagery is like the normal gods are more watery blue, and there's water around them, while when they're corrupted, it is like fire and embers, and the storm is more like a volcano storm than it is like a thunderstorm or anything like that.
It looked beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Well, which one do you want to start with? One or two?
Oh God. Which one's gonna take the longest?
The third one.
Okay, so
one or two first.
Alright. Let's just go in order. One.
Okay. Started a new book series, which you would love. As I said have before, even though you will never read any book I recommend you.
No, I will. I just
you never will.
Need time.
It is called the Black Badge series, and it's written by Jamie Castle, who did the Blackthorn series. And it's a mixture of how it's explained, like how he's explained it, is if you took Witcher and Red Dead and you put them together. It follows Jamie Crowley, I think, or something Crowley, a outlaw who died.
In this series,
was essentially brought back by angels and God, and given the chance to not redeem himself to heaven, but to not fall to hell and like stay in purgatory. And he's an undead outlaw who hunts monsters like Witcher. The first two books, the first book is free. They have like a book 0.5, which is like 4 hours, called Dead Acre, and it's like an introduction. I don't quite know why it's the first, like a 0.5 book, because it just kind of feels a standalone. It sets up the first book, kind of, but more of just this book ends and it's like, all right, go to that town, and then book one starts to him already kind of at the town with really no introduction. It feels like this was made after, but it's really cool premise. He like doesn't bleed, doesn't get tired, doesn't really feel pain, knows he can kind of die but doesn't really know how. He has like an angel that gives him orders, but it's like this, I think it's explained like a nebula in a mirror is when how he sees her. And so, like, she'll pop up in a mirror, and it's like this nebula cloud.
How does he know it's an angel?
Because we're getting the story a couple years after he's died and became a Black Badge. So this is kind of like Witcher, like, there's really not a lot of explanation to how things have already come, because we're supposed to get just the story of, like, he's already doing this. Like, he already knows what he's doing. We get introduced to the characters, like, hey, this is an angel. Like, the White Throne is what it's called. That's what they call heaven, essentially. It is a cool premise that he explains in the book, that angel names are just titles. So Gabriel died when the first Holy War, like Heaven War, was fought, and someone else was just promoted to the name Gabriel.
Oh, interesting.
And our angel lady, I can't remember her name, got looked over twice.
Oh, wow.
She got looked over the first time, and then the newest Gabriel was summoned by a bunch of voodoo queens in New Orleans and trapped in a body. And so they promoted a new Gabriel, and she was looked over again. But he's a like middle-aged Westerner. The person that voices him has that deep Southern drawl.
Oh, I need to hear it.
Like gravelly. If I had my phone on me, I'd play it.
You're showing me after.
Like I said, you genuinely love it because it is a perfect mixture. I've never played Red Dead because I've had no interest in it. But it's a mixture, like, it feels like what we wanted for a Deadlands campaign. It's that, like, I'm playing an undead outlaw who is like a monster hunter who's fighting monsters. And it's just kind of, he's just there to try to redeem himself. There's no like set limit that he has to do. It's just kind of like, well, whenever the White Throne deems me cleansed or like breaks me of this curse. But yeah, it's such a cool book series, and
I love it.
The first one was only 4 hours. I finished it today.
Black Bag. Okay.
Black Badge.
Black Badge. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely going to keep that in mind because that sounds.
Give the first like the 0.5 because once again only 4 hours. It's such a cool premise. The first book, he goes to the city and, well, I guess I won't spoil it but we get introduced to it. It's not super actiony. It's more of a mystery thriller, kind of like how Witcher does it. It's a lot of investigation, and then there's that brief moment of combat.
Yeah, which I'm fine with. I enjoy that kind of story.
I'm excited. So. This first book, its premise apparently is supposed to be like he heads to this town which is near a hellmouth, and so like demonic activity is more popular, and the thing is like there's like an ice wizard or like someone who can manipulate ice, and I think he's trying to find or kill him. I don't know who it is, but it seems cool. I was gonna listen to more of it today because I had like 3-4 more hours, but I don't have anything else to listen to for the next like 2-3 weeks because I don't have any credits, and this was free, so I was like, I'll hold off. I'll let it be my next week kind of thing.
Yeah, but I'm realizing that I've had an itch for Western stories.
It's a good Western story.
Because God, man, Red Dead 2. Did I have that in my top 9? I believe I did.
I think so.
Yeah, like that game destroyed me. And I've always loved Western stories, with cowboys and outlaws and stuff like that. Because those types of stories are some of my favorite because it's never really about, what makes, Western heroes aren't necessarily heroes.
Oh, absolutely.
All those kinds of stories are usually about redemption.
Yeah.
And that's something that I love. I love a redemption story.
And this plays it very well because he's like, because we're getting his story, Mr. Crowley, couple years after, we're not dealing with like the how do I do this, he's like, I already know what I'm doing, and he's an ex-outlaw who knows that he's not fighting for heaven, he's just fighting not to spend an eternity in hell. So he's like, I don't have to be a good person, I do have to hunt evil and like Lucifer's demons and all that, but it's very witchery in the sense that we get a lot of quick snippets of encounters in the past. Like he mentions like stumbling upon a couple farmers hanging upside down draining and like a small coven of vampires. So like we get little clips of like he's obviously fought more things, and what we're seeing is just kind of the current one. But because he's a Black Badge, it's a very interesting thing is he exudes this aura of authority, even though most of the time he's like, I don't really know why, but every time he goes to a town, people are like, oh, you're a marshal. Like, what are you doing here, marshal? And he's like, I'm not a marshal. Sometimes he uses it to his benefit, but he's just kind of this, he's a fucking cowboy who has the energy of someone that would be like a marshal.
That's so cool.
And he doesn't have powers. The only thing that we've seen him have, I can't remember what it's called, but essentially he can touch a recently dead corpse and see the last moment of their life.
So
that's kind of, it helps a little bit with his investigation. But
that's like a little Sinking City, honestly.
Yeah, and I can't remember what he calls it, but it's very interesting because he doesn't feel, but when he does this sort of like thing, he feels everything. And so it helps with the investigation. So usually he walks into town and he's like, all right, what's happening? And then he like touches the corpse.
That's another interesting, I didn't know he could feel. So
he can barely taste, but like drinking alcohol doesn't get him drunk or anything. Smoking doesn't
need to eat.
He doesn't need to eat. He has no blood in his body. His body doesn't regenerate either. So he's got like, there's like a bullet hole in his thing that just kind of goes all the way through. He still tastes, so it's got that natural, like, I enjoy it, kind of, I'm drinking whiskey, but I don't get any of the benefits for it. Same with, like, sex and women and all that. So he's kind of just this not feeling, and then when he does it things, he like can sense it, and it's usually just the last moments, and so he's like, all right, something supernatural happened here. What am I fighting? What I'm seeing glimpses of things, kind of moving on. It's such a cool premise. I'm really excited to get into the first book. I think it's only like 13 hours, so not super long, but it's Jamie Castle, who I completely loved the first 2 of the Blackthorn series. I'm saving the next 2 for a period. And it's voiced. God, it's voiced. I played that first one and I was like, God damn! I was like, oh, he deep and he's southern. And he got that like husk to him.
Oh man, I got it.
I was creaming.
I gotta know.
I'll show you after. Unless I can pull up Audible.
Well, it might be. I just want to know the voice actor because I think I know exactly who it might be.
I can't think of. I could see his name in my head. Excuse me.
Black Badge, audiobook, voice actor.
It is narrated by Roger Clark.
Okay, hold on.
The prelude book is called Deadacre. The first book is called Cold as Hell.
Dude, Roger Clark is fucking Arthur Morgan from Red Dead.
Is he really?
Yeah!
I was like, he has the same feel to it.
Yeah, that's Arthur Morgan.
So yeah, imagine Arthur Morgan voicing this damn thing.
Oh, I gotta listen.
God, wow, he really is. Yeah, Arthur Morgan. I'm seeing what else he was in.
I have to listen to this now.
It's okay, so I don't even have to play it for you now because now you know what he is.
Oh my god, does he sound like Arthur though?
It's deeper. From what I've heard of Arthur Morgan, I'll play a clip it for you because I don't think we're gonna get copyright.
No.
He is a little deeper from what I remember. Deadacre.
This is Audible.
Wow, this is Audible.
Prologue. 6 bullets sounds like a lot.
No, that's Arthur.
Okay.
That's just full on Arthur.
I thought it was a little deeper.
Man, each with 6 of his own. I did about all one could with lead being slung
It's
from all
it's so good. It hits. Oh, it hits.
The way Jamie and it's weird because both books are double author, but when you look up these books, they only really say one person, which is Jamie Castle. The other person is Rhett Bruno. I don't know who that is. He seems to kind of work a little bit, but he does a lot of sci-fi. But he works on this series with Jamie Castle. I don't know if he's an editor or something, but James Crowley, that's the main character's name. But God, the way Jamie Castle writes, it's so good.
Oh man.
So I've been loving that.
Okay, I'm listening to that this week.
Oh my god,
that is happening.
You have to, and the fact that they're free. Such a smart.
Roger Clark, of course he's playing.
Yeah. Perfect scenario to jump off of. I finished Friday Eclipse.
Oh,
Her great book.
started
the small novella, A Short Second Life of Bree Tanner, which is also 4 hours. Holy shit. Aside from a Twilight book, which the books have been so much better than I thought they were ever, it is rare to find a piece of media that gives such a distinct feeling to being a newborn vampire. Do you know anything about the Short Second Life of Bree Tanner?
I've never heard of it.
Eclipse is essentially, the premise is that some old vampire that the Cullens had a grudge against, named Victoria. She goes to Seattle, creates a newborn army, which you're the strongest you are in the first year of your life, to essentially bring down to the Cullen family and destroy them.
Oh wow!
So that's the premise of Eclipse. The ending of the book ends with the Cullens fighting the newborn army, completely swamping them because they side with the werewolves, and this newborn army is completely destroyed. One character surrenders in the very end, doesn't even fight in the fight. It's explained that she was just found surrendering, Bree Tanner. And obviously the main dad, Carlisle, who's turned almost every member in the family. He's turned almost every member in the family. Was like, if you don't fight us, we won't fight you. Like, I'm offering you a second chance.
Yeah.
And so, obviously, the book's from Bella's perspective, so we only really see when she comes back, and Edward's like, she surrendered, it's very rare. Carlisle's offered her a second chance. The Volturi come, which are the like vampire royalty enforcer of the law, and essentially go, we don't give second chances, and they kill her.
Oh no.
And so it's a very sad. We just know she's a newborn. We know she's less than a year old, and she is slaughtered, and the Cullens can't do anything about it because technically she broke the rulings, even if she doesn't know what they were. The newborn army goes on like a slaughtering rampage for months in Seattle, and Seattle has this huge like murder spree, like serial killers, like victims found everywhere kind of thing. And so this novella follows Bree Tanner's life, the short second life, where she's a 16-year-old girl, she dies, or she gets turned by Victoria, and she lives in essentially this house full of ranging from 15 to 20 other newborn vampires, and it's chaos. It's like gang life, essentially. Vampire newborns killing each other, thirst for blood, being sent out and hunting, you being told, hey, be discreet. Obviously, you're a newborn, so you don't have the control, so there's just murder. And it is a beautiful representation of just being a newborn vampire. And it's a very sad story where she is only 3 months old as a vampire. Meets a kid named Diego who is 18 but has only been a vampire for like 6 months. They are mates, which is kind of a very classically in any type of mates. I'm learning Twilight does mates very interesting, where you tend to find your mate, if it's not someone who's turned with you, it's someone very, very, very far away. It's a very common thing to be like, oh, we were turned together, or we were turned around the same time or same area, we became mates. Or it's, I was a vampire, and then I kind of wandered and then found my mate randomly. So she finds her mate. It's this Mexican kid, Diego, who's sweet and kind and has a lot more like control and restraint as a newborn. They start like finding out that they're being lied to because they don't really know what's happening. They're not being told why they're being created, what the purpose of their creation is. They're not told any of the laws, so they think like going out and hunting is just a normal thing, killing's a normal thing. Fast forward, they find out that sun doesn't kill them, because that's a huge thing that's being told. It's like, hey, sun burns you alive, stay indoors. Like, come back to essentially the home that we've chosen.
Yeah.
They find out sun doesn't kill them.
It just makes them glisten.
Makes them glitter. Diego is really close friends with the person running it, Riley. And he's like, I'll talk to him. Maybe he doesn't know. Maybe her, Victoria, because they don't know who she is, our creator, hasn't told him. Maybe she doesn't know. Because they're all clueless and they're kids. Shit gets more stuff. They are finally sent...
Shit gets more stuff.
Shit gets more stuff. They are finally sent to where the Cullens are. And Diego is murdered. She doesn't know it. Essentially, Diego goes to Riley and is like, hey, the sun doesn't kill us. And he's like, you're not supposed to know that, and kills him. She doesn't know that, and so she's running along, she finds it. Eventually the story's the same. She gets to the meadow. We get a bit more of her side where she's looking for Diego and trying to escape and run away from this whole thing. And then she's like in the battlefield where she's seeing the Cullens and the newborns fight. Can't find him. Comes to the realization that he was never alive. That when he went to Riley and was like, hey, they murdered him. Essentially just has all purpose in life out of the window. gives up the whole, like, Carlisle's like, hey, we won't kill you. And then she's essentially like, maybe I can start a new life. How do I start without, essentially, Diego? And the book is much sweeter because in Eclipse, it feels much more horrifying that she's just murdered. In the books, in her little snippet, though, it's more of like I always know I was going to die. And when the Volturi do come and she's talking, she's like, I can feel my time running. And she has a moment where she's like, if I die, when I die tonight, it'll be knowing that I don't have anything else to live, that, because Edward can read minds. I told all of the secrets to him about, like, the Volturi being in on it, knowing this army was there. And when she kind of dies, it's this, like a breath, at least. And it's such a sad book, and because we've played Vampire Masquerade, but we've done it in the way that's like, you guys are kind of older. You guys have been a vampire for a year to like a decade. A lot of you guys played like, oh, I've been in this business. But I was like, God, there's something about media showing
how to play a new vampire.
Just had the experience of a new vampire. And it's almost the same in all types of media, of like the thirst, the hunger, not knowing what's going on. Almost always do you never have someone telling you how to do things. And it's that like isolation, and in her case she's with a bunch of other vampires. And we get clips of like, what would you do? Kind of thing of like, if you're in this situation, why are you staying? But you don't know anything else. You're not told anything else. She plays it smart. She kind of becomes friends with a kid named Freaky Rick. Freaky Rick, I think, who we learn has a power called repulsion magnetism. He essentially can exude an aura of repulsion, where people can't look at him, they can't think about him. It makes them, like, even vampires want to like throw up if they try to concentrate on him. So she kind of hangs around with him. He is able to escape because when they start fleeing to go to when the newborn army starts to fight the Colons and like travel from Seattle down to Forks, he's like, fuck no, like my power. I have about 30 minutes where the army won't even be able to think about me. I'm heading to Vancouver. And he's like, you should come with me. And she's like, I can't leave with Diego. I don't know if he's still there. We were told he's on reconnaissance. And he's like, all right, I'll wait a date for you. And he kind of knows she won't be back. And it's such a horrifying thing. So I just...
So sad.
It's sad, but it's been a weekly obsession of mine because I love Vampire Masquerade so much. I was like, I am craving playing a newborn campaign where it's just like literally exploring the first few months of you becoming a vampire.
We can do it, just me and you. You know we can. I
thought about writing it a little bit for tomorrow for our other friends. But I was like, God, I'm craving getting to explore just the feeling of being a newborn. And Vampire Masquerade is such a wonderful system because it's a very common setting you can do, which is, hey, I've just turned. We played a little bit more of like, you guys are older. You guys know a bit more, so it's a little bit more politically heavy.
I would love to play an Annabelle character. Or I think that's her name.
Yeah, Annabelle.
Yeah, where I'm a Bruja who recently gets turned and just is like, what do I do? What is happening to me? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to play that type of character.
She's such fun because she's a consensualist, which means she has to ask permission to feed, which is a huge risk for the Masquerade. They also do the Masquerade very well in Eclipse, or the Short Life, because it's not always like, I feed off a human, I break the Masquerade. It's more of just... And it's not, well, obviously we've only played 3 sessions, but it's the, like, as long as there's no evidence, or if there is evidence, make it look like it's an accident, or make it look like it's a car accident. So I was like, God, I wish we could play a bit more around the Masquerade, because it's set up to be like, you can't ever break it. And it's like, no, you can. You just have to be smart if you break it. If you're going to feed and kill it off a human, make it look like a gunfight, make it look like whoever it was stabbed on the street. Like, there has to be more than just I break it, everything move on. Because that's kind of the big thing about Eclipse is Bella is consistently seeing the Newsline articles of like higher death tolls, mass murder on the loose, gang violence, and so it's not like the world isn't automatically thrown into it's vampires. It's more what are we seeing because of obviously the masquerade is a vampire masquerade specific thing, but like when the masquerade is slightly broken, how does it react? When does either the Volturi or the Camarilla step in to be like, hey, this has gone too far? Or even the Barons.
I would love to have an intro like Bloodlines, where we get turned and then immediately like the Camarilla come and are like killing like whoever turned us, and then it's like, what do we do with these?
There's the module I bought. I think do I have it out here? I bought a old Vampire Masquerade module, I think from first or second edition Vampire Masquerade, where that's one of the 2 modules you can play, which is the Coterie, the small group of vampires that we play, was turned last night by the same person. And you all wake up in like essentially a basement together, and that is the small like campaign we play of you guys are quite literally the night of being turned into a vampire, the hunger, the beast, the frenzy. Also, because you guys are all supposed to be friends, so it's like you guys know each other, so you can't just murder each other. And it's like, what? That's I was like, I want to play something like that.
That sounds so fun.
So, I've been itching. I've been craving for vampire recently, for that specifically, because I love what we're doing. It is a different energy to play that sort of, we're older, we know the politics and the rituals. We have to be careful with what we do and what we say. I'm like, I want the mess.
I want the mess too.
Like, I want to play with mess right now. I want to play with, hey, your character is so thirsty, make me a humanity check or a willpower.
I think that's the best way to start a system like that, honestly, is you're completely new.
Yeah.
Like, not only are you the player new to the system and the game, you're a new vampire. You have no idea what's going on.
So when the rules are explained to the characters, they're explained to the players also.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'll do it. I've been craving it. I don't want to stop Dragon Realms.
No.
But, I also don't want to burn myself out on Dragon Realms. And doing it every single week will naturally lead to that. Will lead to periods where you're like, I just want to do something a little bit different right now.
I will say, you can always be like, hey, I don't really want to do Dragon Realms, can we do this week?
Yeah.
That there's never a reason why that can't be a thing.
Yeah.
Because, like, I know we only have, like, a limited time with Dragon Realms, but, like you said, burnout happens, and there are just times you're craving to do something else. I mean, there were plenty of times where we were like, let's do a one-shot.
Yeah.
Or let's do this, because, like...
I'm just craving vampire. I want to get into it where I don't have to be like, okay, do you know the Camarilla? Do you know the Barons? Do you know everything else? I don't even know if I want to, I'm not even craving, like, an LA thing.
Yeah.
Like, I want to play, like, a Seattle kind of thing where it's like...
I would love if we played ourselves. I think that would be hilarious.
It would be
and that
hard.
you were the vampire who, like, turned us all. Like, that would be kind of hilarious.
It would be hard, and I don't know quite if we could detach the characters enough to do things like, I'm gonna, not murder this girl, but, like, I'm so hungry that it leads to me slaughtering this woman. Being like, Lucas! Kind of thing. It'd be fun.
Be like, whoa, Lucas, what the fuck? And I'm just gnawing.
Yeah. But also that, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I'll do it. I've been thinking about taking like 2-3 weeks off of Dragon Realms to be like, hey, can we do a little bit something just to refresh my desire to do Dragon Realms? So
I don't see a reason why we couldn't, especially after last session, honestly.
Yeah. I think if I were to do it, I'd want to do it when you guys get to Crimda. That way, when we come back, it can be the start of, the Crimda arc.
Oh, this grew. I mean, it grew fast. Sorry, I just noticed.
No, yeah, they did.
They grew super fast.
But yeah. It's such a... And it's a good standalone book. Because, like, even if you don't care anything about Twilight, it does not feel like a Twilight book. It feels like someone made a short story based on becoming a new vampire in a world that is almost never explained.
Yeah.
There's not, like... Because you're following someone who doesn't know the rules.
Mm-hmm.
But... Alright, my last weekly obsession. I'm a weak man.
What is it?
I'm a weak man.
What did you do? You non-binary you. What'd you do?
I don't even want to say it.
Zach. Either you say it or we move on.
I'll say it.
Okay.
Because it's something I've talked about the last couple of weeks. I've got 3 hours played so far.
Uh-huh.
I bought it.
Oh no! Zach, no! Zach!
I bought it.
You said you didn't want to buy it at 70.
I didn't. And guess what? I did. I bought Dragon's Dogma 2.
What was the breaking point?
That their character creation is a separate software and it is free.
God damn it. Is it really?
Yeah.
Ah!
You can do character creation within the game itself, but they have just a separate program that when you go up to the page is like Dragon's Dogma character creation, and it's a free install. Took me like 20 minutes while I was making notes for this to download it, and you get to essentially there's 5 slots where you can make your main character, and then you can make your main pawn. So I broke. And I paid for it.
For shame. For shame.
Yes. It is a good game. I'm enjoying it. I will have to pull it up so I can show you my characters. I made... The main character gives Timothée Chalamet-esque. You know, sharp jawline, kind of the similar hair. Yeah. And then I tried to make my boyfriend. It is very difficult to try to make a real-life person in a video game. So... It's a twinkified hot version of him. But it's pretty cool. I started out as mage. Also, it's seamless where when you do the character creation when you play the actual game and you just choose your character, it says, hey, we recognize there's already preset data for this character. Would you like to accept it? And if you accept it, it fully pulls up your character.
Oh, that's so cool.
Same with a pawn. Like once you... Because your main pawn follows you throughout the entire game. And so you make it, and so it does the same thing of like, hey, we recognize preset data. Would you like to accept it?
Yeah, it's just like Dragon's Dogma 1.
Yeah.
Where you make your main pawn.
Yeah, except for this is just a free separate program. I was like, God damn. So, I bought it, downloaded it while I was making my character. Spent an hour and a half on character creation.
Not surprised.
And I played it until 1 a.m. And it's pretty fun. I'm enjoying it so far.
I'm glad.
I'm getting used to mages because it's very different from other mage classes I've played in a lot of other games, where it's like Dragon Age Inquisition is incredibly fast-paced mage. Dragon's Dogma does it kind of realistically, which is also very similar to how I very imagine Gandria does it, where it's like the higher level spells take longer to cast.
Yeah.
And so it's like if I want to do with a giant lightning, like 3-strike lightning bolt, it's taking a thing to cast, and I can kind of barely move. And so when the giant ogre's rushing me, I'm like slowly shifting to the side.
Well, that's actually, because that was the whole idea for action points. Is like you need this amount of action points to be able to cast these spells.
Like if you want to do even martial, it's like if you want to do the really powerful, hard-hitting, cool martial ability, you're going to need more action points.
That doesn't mean you can't move. That doesn't mean you can't do like a basic attack. It just means you are going to lose some of the action points that you could be gaining. Yeah. So you should make your choices wise. You know.
I've been enjoying it. I've been loving it so far. I just hit a point where I was like, I said I didn't want to pay $70, and it hurts. I have the money for it because I've been, it's not financially hurting. It's more of just because I've done it now. I'm going to put myself I'm going to have to play it like Baldur's Gate. Yeah. Like, if I spend this amount of money on it, I'm going to have to hit 100 plus hours because there's no way I'm going to justify explaining this much. But I've enjoyed it so far. it's been fun.
Mm-hmm.
It is very much, like you said before, a game. Well, I think you maybe said this off the pod.
Probably.
A game that is very much...
It's your style.
It's my style.
It's your style game.
And I want to play different... I want to play different classes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like mage, because mage tends to be... Mage is more of a support. You know, you kind of do the fire, ice, lightning, buffs on weapons, the healing. But you also have to play that before you get to the next one. So eventually I'll get to sorcerer, which is the more damage.
Yeah.
Magic casting.
I do want to get the game at some point. I just cannot condone the $70.
Amen. It was one of those purchases where you're like...
Like, once it's like 50% off, I'm there.
Yeah.
I'll play.
Yeah.
Because from what you've shown to me, like, the combat looks actually really good.
Yeah.
And like, I would kill as a warrior. I love playing warriors and berserkers and all that shit.
It's such a cool. For me, it was the same thing of like 70 is a very, very steep price. But I hit a certain point where I was like, I want it. Like, genuinely, I can feel myself wanting this game. It's not like, oh, it looks cool, I'll get it whenever. It's like, every single day I get home, I'm checking Steam to see it. And I'm like, at that point...
You might as well.
I might as well spend the 70. The desire to play it's going to be there. I'm going to be playing it for a lot.
Because that's the same thing for me in Hyper Light Breaker.
Yeah.
Is I'm literally sitting there every day, coming home, looking at Steam and being like, it's not up yet. I want it.
And I'm like, at a certain point... Me just waiting for $20 because my other thing was like $50 was what I want to pay.
Yeah,
I was like, me waiting 20 more, like for $20 off. How many months is that going to take? And then at that point, it would have been worth the 70.
Yeah.
The amount of time I played it. So I will probably talk about it next week because at that point I'll probably have 30-ish hours on it. But I'm enjoying it so far.
Mm-hmm.
So far, I really haven't had much of an issue. The only thing I've had, which a lot of games, I feel like I've done this before, it's very sensitive when it comes to running near a ledge and like auto climbing.
Oh yeah.
But games kind of already have issues with that where you're like, because there's no like climb, there's a climb button, but there's kind of auto climb. Anytime you're like running near something you can auto climb, it's that kind of like, climb up and you're like, no, just get down, let me open it up, but you kind of want to auto climb.
Can you turn that off at all?
I don't know. If you could, that would be better. They had run set to toggle, which was really rough.
Toggle?
Instead of hold. I can see why you'd want to do it because there's a lot of running in the game.
Yeah, but I'd rather just hold down the button. Like
me too. I mean, that's how I play.
Yeah.
But I could see toggle because there's a lot of running.
I could see like keyboard and mouse. I can see it because there's a toggle button usually for like open world games like that. But I'm very much like I play controller a lot, so and a lot of that is just like hold down the button and go.
I think this was also leading. I've been wanting to play a controller game, but I've been wanting to play on my computer. Obviously, I have a decently nice computer. Controller support is so nice in this game. I was nervous for it because it's technically like a PS5, Xbox One. I don't know the PS5 version of Xbox. I think it's Xbox One right now.
Xbox One.
So I was like, I don't know how it is. They have a beautiful where you like if you do controller, you can set the inputs to be Xbox, PS4, or Nintendo button layouts. So like it's auto, I think, to Xbox, but I set it up to PS4 or PS button like logo layouts.
That's
and
nice.
I've had not a single issue playing it. So.
Real quick, because you reminded me, I did get the BioShock games again.
Ooh!
Because they were on sale. I got the whole collection for like $10.
Love that.
And I have been playing through those, and those have been a blast. The only thing is, it is not allowing me to do controller support for whatever reason, so I am playing it mouse keyboard.
I couldn't, when I got it, I couldn't do controller support either.
Yeah, so
Steam?
I'm just doing mouse and keyboard.
I will hold my voice for Steam. Steam is a shitty app, and they have not worked very well on keeping Steam a user-friendly and like supported.
Yeah, Valve is just doing weird things.
Yeah.
But I have been enjoying playing BioShock again. even with mouse and keyboard, I still love those games.
Yeah.
And
you should look into see if there's any mods that help with control support.
Possibly, but honestly, it's not that bad.
Okay.
Especially since I've been playing a lot of like TF2 as well.
Yeah, you kind of get used to it.
I've gotten used to it, and honestly, it's helping me with like my aim, so I can get better at TF2.
Love it. That's how you do it.
And I'm having fun with it. All right,
but yes, that was the shame.
For shame.
Though I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed of it.
No, I mean, if you can justify it in your head that price, like if you are dying to get that game, fair enough. I can't justify it right now, but you obviously could. So.
And that was the thing. I was like, at a certain point, I was looking for every justification. I'm like, the desire to play this game is what's making it worth it.
Yeah.
Like, there's not many games where I'm like, I genuinely just want to get my grubby little hands on it. I'm like, I can wait.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, God, every waking moment, I was like, sale? No. Sale? Sale? Damn it. Well, and I had a point yesterday where I was like, I want it. I want to delve into something right now.
I get it.
So,
I get it.
All right. The episode title. Rap, binary, and culture.
Mm-hmm.
First off, I know we've made this announcement before. We're not professionals.
Not at all.
We
have no idea what we're talking about.
I said we do not know everything. If we get things wrong, yell at Lucas, not me. Lucas's email is blah, 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 blah.
Blah, 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 blah.
This episode is mostly just the stepping stones into learning a little bit about rap and its culture and what I want to learn a bit more about. So if we get anything wrong, let us know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we shall get into it. What is rap? Great. Rap is a musical style in which rhythmic speech is chanted.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense. Rapped to music. Usually it's included with background music, digital sampling, which is very common. Music or sounds extracted from other things. I just played a song for you before we started the episode where it samples If I Was a Rich Man from
Fiddler on the Roof.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's also called / included in hip-hop. It refers to mostly a broader culture that includes rap, DJing, graffiti painting, breakdancing, hip-hop itself. So it's one of those names where there's a lot to it.
Yeah.
Rap originated in black communities in New York, which was very interesting. I did not know that. It came to prominence with Sugar Hill Gang's rapper Delight, and the early stars included Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five.
Heard of Furious 5.
Yeah. I've heard of Grandmaster Flash. I've not listened to much. Run DMC, LL Cool J, which we've all heard of, and then Public Enemy, and the Beastie Boys, which I've heard of Beastie Boys before too.
I used to have a CD of this Beastie Boys.
Damn.
Greatest hits.
The late 1980s saw the advertisement of gangster rap, which was more lyrically misogynistic and glamorized violence and drug dealing, which is kind of what we talk about a little bit later, of kind of how rap has always been a little bit misogynistic. And then obviously later we have Diddy, Snoop Dogg, Jay-Z, Outkast. Love Outkast. I used to listen to the shit out of them. Eminem, Kanye, Lil Wayne, Drake, and then Nicki Minaj are kind of the huge cultural names.
Yeah, you hear them a lot.
I will say that, because I'm going to be citing my 3 sources I have, so if you want to look them up. This is from www.britannica.com/art/rap. There's a lot more to it, but it gave a great explanation to what rap is as an actual genre. The history of rap is pretty interesting. I thought it was older, but it's just 1980s, or like 1960s, I mean, which is still pretty old, but not as old as I thought. Widely accepted. This is from ProMusicianHub.com. And it gives a really great breakdown on the history of rap. Early 1960s and 1970s, we see the true origins of rap, but rap can always be traced back to ancient times because it's just a lyrical rhythm based on music. It's a very common thing.
I mean, chanting you could consider is like a type of rap form.
Rhythmic chanting on music. Rap music as a genre officially began in the early 1970s in Black and Latino neighborhoods in New York. Go New York. Initially, it started off as a way to keep crowds energized, which I thought was very cool, and MCs, which I've heard of the name MC, but I've never known what they are. But MCs are people, a person specifically responsible for hyping up a crowd.
Oh, okay, heard
the name, like the actual name for an MC, Master of Ceremonics, is what it actually stands for. But it's essentially a hype man within a crowd.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. MCs and DJs would liven up the crowd by talking or telling jokes over beats. Later, MCs became known as rappers. Like, oh shit, it's cool. DJ Kool Herc, formerly known as Clive Campbell, transformed dance DJing, party culture, and Jamaican toasting traditions into vibrant music. He's widely credited as the founder of hip-hop or the father of hip-hop.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh shit, that's cool. So that's, early 70s New York. Fast forward a little bit to 1980s. We get the golden era of rap. This is where rap becomes more soulful and personal. It uses forms of vocal protest against social injustice. Every song was more inventive than the last one, always trying to almost one-up each other. And then we saw a huge jump in just the sheer number of innovations of just this was, like I said, kind of the golden era, so everyone was getting into it. Also the 80s were kind of a rough time just in general, so
a lot of people gravitated.
Like all art, it reflects the political atmosphere, and so it becoming more soulful and more protest-y makes very sense. The main kind of, at least for what we're talking about now, which is women in rap, is the late 90s. Late 90s. Started in the 60s.
Okay.
Early 70s, late 90s, women enter rap. Not technically. That's what it's called. For years, almost, 2-3 decades, rap is reigned by masculinity and men themselves. Largely so that it's considered a male-dominated genre. Given the industry's history of marginalizing and antagonizing women and female artists, a lot of them were just cast aside and their stories completely ignored.
That's so fucked.
Not shocking. The world is built on misogyny and built on patriarchal society, so it makes sense that any genre of music is going to be male dominated. But they've always existed. The late 90s, we see the Battle of the Coast. We see the Battle of the Coast last few moments, and the female rappers essentially start gaining ground in the beach, start fucking rushing forward. They were fully unapologetic in their experiences in their life and their telling of their side of the story,
which is good.
Which
Go
is
off Queens.
Amen. A lot of their interpretations of the world they lived in was also talked about, shattering old forms of self-expression and essentially just birthing this new, very classically and commonly, I don't give a fuck about you, I'm doing what I'm doing kind of thing. This is just me. Like male rappers, female rappers used rhyming schemes, metaphors, flow to relate experiences that range from dark and violent, which there was a lot of back then, to the occasional flowy romantic that we kind of see in a lot of things. Notable names during the time, Queen Latifah. Fully forget she was a rapper.
Yeah.
I only can remember her as I think it's the Christmas movie where she's her character's almost gonna die, so she lives for life, and it's really well, I'm gonna die, so might as well do everything I can. And I was like, oh yeah, she was a full rapper back then.
Yeah.
Salt and Pepper, Yo-Yo, and McLight.
Wow, I've heard of all these.
Yeah. It's you know these so easily, or they're just kind of like swoop. They won multiple Grammy Awards throughout the years, but we'll talk about awards in a second because it's kind of sad. Sharon or Sharrock Green was the first female rapper. I could not find anything, at least on Spotify. I probably could find her music on YouTube. There was nothing on Spotify, which is sad. Similarly, she is named as the mother of hip-hop. Or, kind of in a cooler name, the mother of Mike.
Oh, I love that.
I was like, oh, look at that Mike. So yeah, her and, what was his name? Oh, DJ Kool Herc. Being the father and mother. There's also Shantae DeBrat Harris. She became the first female solo rapper to win a platinum certification with Functified, which sold millions of copies and still continues to sell even today. I listened to the song Functified. It's if you can think of the 90s packaged into like a rap song, I'll show it to you after the episode. Oh, excuse me, hiccups. It's so fun.
Yeah, well, and she show me after the episode.
Yeah, I just got two things. It's it gives like Outkast, but yeah, she's in full. Kind of a very common thing that we see is if you aren't overly against it, you tend to use it. And so the Brat looks very masculine. Has the kind of classic male outfit, the rapping, the giant blue jeans, kind of this like wife beater, the hat, which is a very smart tactic. If you can't beat them, join them and use them. But it's such a fun song. But yeah, she kind of the first platinum certification.
Wow.
So that's kind of and obviously towards the 20s we start to get more people, which I am going to talk about now because what am I thinking of? The awards or like when things are is crazy. 2023. This is from The Cut. It's Women About Hip Hop. Holy shit! Look up thecut.com. Not you, but our audio listeners. Cut.com. What about women in hip hop? This is a enormous article about women within hip hop and rap. Wow. It is gorgeous. 2023, Missy Elliott became the first woman in rap to be inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. 2023?
Are you serious?
The first woman to be inducted into the Hall of Rock and Roll. The first female solo artist to win Best Rap Album at Grammys was Cardi B in 2019.
That's too late.
With her debut record, Invasion of Privacy. In 2021, Megan Thee Stallion was the first female hip-hop artist since Lauryn Hill in 1999 to win Best Artist, or Best New Artist.
What?
Nicki Minaj broke another long-standing Lauryn Hill record with her 2020 single, Super Freaky Girl. It's crazy. The first solo record by a woman in rap to debut at the top of the Billboard's Hot 100 since the 1998 doo-wop. So 2022, and then 1998. That was the jump between the first solo record by a woman in rap to debut the Billboard's Top 100. Over 20 years.
Why? Why such a gap?
I don't know.
That's because I know there are more talented artists out there that deserve to be up there.
So I came across that and I was like, holy shit. Because it is a very common human thing where when something first comes out, the early 90s, women take that step into rap. Or no, they don't take the step. They gain holding into it. And we see a lot of them. It's very popular. And it very commonly, at least in America, things die very quickly. And so 20s, or the early 2000s, and then into 2010, we still see women in rap, but obviously not to the level that we saw in the 90s. And now towards the 20s, we're seeing a much huger...
Almost a resurgence.
Not even a resurgence. There's a level of power now in women in rap where I fully believe they won't go back to being kind of hidden anymore. And we have a lot of huge names in rap that are female that are not going to be leaving anytime soon. But anyways, even as we're having this conversation, 2023 was kind of the most exciting time for fans of women in rap. Kind of it speaks, like what I was just saying, just how resilient we as viewers and the industry is of, and no matter what happens, they're going to be persistent.
Yeah.
You know? If people want to be in something, doesn't matter how much you kind of fight them against it and try to hide them. But yeah, it speaks just... What can I say what this said?
I mean, it is honestly like incredibly interesting that it has taken this long for like more people to get recognized. But it is very cool that it is getting recognized more now. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of rap, as I said before. I'm more recently getting into it, but for the longest time, I had kind of a thing against it because I associated it with my stepdad at the time.
Yeah.
Because that's what he really liked to listen to.
Yeah.
And so I just didn't, by principle, I didn't listen to like any rap, really.
Rap is very similar to country, and this is what we talked a little bit about last episode. It is a genre that is, like I said before, built on misogyny.
It is.
A lot of rap is centered around, fucking bitches, getting money, doing drugs, kind of this ideology of like, almost you're just the pimp. You just do what you want.
And then country is, I fuck my wife, I love my dog, I drive my truck, and I drink my beer.
And I shoot something.
Yeah, and I shoot something.
Or it's, I'm looking at someone else's, like, I'm looking at this woman, she's gorgeous, I want her,
But my wife would hate me if I...
she's this pretty little thing, and like, tight shorts, like, it's always objectifying them, which is why I never got into rap, because that's a lot of what it was. But last year, I took the step into country of more folk, very similar to how I'm taking a step into rap of, it is not the only genre. It is a popular genre. There's like anti-women, the songs about how many, women you can fuck and like how you're a godsend among the people. But there are different genres. And I started getting more into like folk country where it's kind of the old classics. Didn't get far into it because
I love Mumford & Sons. I enjoy them.
I just learned... I took a step, just learned it's not quite my genre. But yeah, rap has a lot of density, and fans that enjoy lyrically dense and like cerebral wordplay, explore Rhapsody, Chica, No Name, which I'm excited to start listening to those more. Theatrical explorations of musical performance are more your thing. There's Tierra Whack, Lakili 47, Monita, Rico Nasty, Cupcake. They're right up your alley. My sort of kind of favorite genre, I've got two favorite genres, which is pussy rap or what was the other name for it? Dirty rap. This sort of very, very similar to men. It's instead of I'm objectifying women, it's I have power. Men come to me because I am powerful, and it's a genre of rap that is very sexual and very explicit about that stuff. But it's a very different feeling because personally, it's a very different feeling when you talk to someone else, like, I'm fucking all these people, I'm the best they've ever seen. but it's coming from a male perspective, feels much different than it comes from a very female perspective. So, I love pussy rap. Classically, we have Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B, Lato, we have City Girls, Ken the Man. Yeah, very sex forward, very sex positive, which is very good. But we've also see, which I'm going to talk about it towards the end. I did not know there was a subgenre of rap that is Southern rap, not country rap, but Southern style of rap. And we see from like Baby Mutha to Sexy Red to one of my most current favorite artists, which is Glorilla. She's getting really popular. And then we've got Malibu Mitch, Local Brook, harnesses Sonic from New York's 90s superstars kind of feel. Bronx Ice Spice, classic. Made a name for herself injecting a delicate cadence more than a contemporary drill sound. Flo Milli, also one of my current favorite artists right now, trademarked the unique bratty approach to her delivery. Kind of this... God, you'd have to listen to her. That sort of genre is a very quick-paced rap with a lot of action in it. And Flo Milli is... She's bratty. I mean, there's no other way of explaining it. I will name her, but recently she has fallen in my eyes. Nicki Minaj. Yep. Recently, I didn't mean to say recently, regularly dropped hit after hit after hit.
A lot of people love Nicki
She
Minaj.
was kind of the superstar for a long time. And we're seeing a small decline. We're seeing the crown given away. Yep. I don't know what she's gonna do after what she pulled recently, but
I don't know.
Without all that being clearly defined, like I said before, dozens of genres, dozens of artists within each genre. Marketing, or without clearly defining marketability, advertisement neglect came for a lot of artists, and I think this is kind of what we see towards the 90s and early 2000s. A lot of female artists completely felt abandoned and unattended on the shelves due to deals running out, executives not really giving a shit about them. It's kind of no wonder a lot of female artists left hip-hop to pursue other either forms of music or just other passions in general.
Which is sad, because I know there's a lot of talent out there that doesn't get recognized for just rap in general, but also just just talent in general that doesn't get recognized because somebody is a woman or a different ethnicity,
a minority group.
Yeah, it really is just there's a lot more that we could do if we listened and actually gave them the tools. A lot more we could learn, do, realize, than just holding them down and not giving a fuck because you're a girl in the rap scene. It's
you can't do this.
You can't do this. You're not real. That's...
Women will never leave. And God, do they fight.
Women are so essential to basis of all of society and everything has been a part of life.
Yeah.
So, the fact that we treat them so poorly is so... not okay.
Oh, yeah.
And it's I've always said that the people are just going to learn my views now.
Get them.
But I have always said I am pro-human.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. I am going to be in your corner.
Yeah.
As long as you're not terrible.
Yeah.
Don't be terrible to somebody else. So, to me, respect is something that, a lot of people always say, respect is earned.
Yeah.
I don't think that's how we should look at respect. Respect should be given and then received.
Yeah.
You don't get respect by not giving respect.
Because then we get into, this whole topic of they never got to earn respect because there was never... For women in rap, there was never the idea that they were going to get respect.
Yeah.
So you're not going to earn respect if they're not even, the people giving it or even looking at you.
So when you take away, respect, you have to give respect to be shown respect. You give what you give what you want to be seen.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me, it's just so important to show respect to people and artists and people and people's talents. Not even just through art, but other things that are considered not art, welding or
I mean, STEM is a huge women in STEM has kind of always been that. Not it has been that joke of you're a woman in STEM.
In STEM?
But it's You know how hard they have to work just to get a step below us or below the men in that level, and guess what? They're gonna continue to fight.
Absolutely, and I think they should
appreciate women.
Absolutely. That being said, and this will be probably the most controversial thing I will say. Also appreciate the good men out there.
That's true.
A lot of men get. Because of a few bad men, and don't get me wrong, those bad men deserve the hate and deserve to be put down. But I've seen recently there has been a huge stigma against just men in general.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of good men out there, ladies.
There are.
And I understand that, I fully understand where you're coming from. I grew up with mostly women in my life, and seeing their perspectives on it. But as somebody who looks more and identifies more as a man than most other people I know, it's hard to be, seen in certain ways just because I am one.
Yeah.
Because, and don't get me wrong, there are real reasons to be afraid and to be understandably uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to point out one stigma, I need to point out another.
Absolutely.
So
I think it's just men getting a taste of what it feels like to be marginalized.
Honestly.
That's that whole conversation of it feels horrible to be looked at as a man and feel stigmatized. It's that's just every... That's everyone. Not in a bad way, but that is just every other marginalized group. And
sure.
Obviously it sucks that we as humans are just naturally drawn to doing that to each other.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, the... Not author... Is it an author when you write an article?
An article? Usually.
Author, yeah. The author has not a fun quote, but continues to say, a lot of them felt like they couldn't do anything. Bringing out a specific rapper named Soul, said she didn't feel like she necessarily fit so squarely into any one thing.
Mm-hmm.
That you almost felt like you got pigeonholed, and a lot of them expressed that kind of pressure to choose what type of rapper they were. Which is a very classic kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it made me think of obviously everyone knows her, Beyonce. I've gotten into a little bit of her music, and she is one of those types of people that refuses to be put into a box.
For sure.
Regardless of anything. She just came out with a country album, which I think I talked a little bit about, even in that statement of, this isn't a country album, it's a Beyonce album, it is country essence, but it is not a country album. It is an album written by me. So, I know that struggle is hard, because everyone wants to put someone else into, a specific pigeonhole, and be like, no, you have to do this, you have to be this person.
For sure. I will forever respect and will never say a bad thing about Beyonce.
Yeah. She has done the work.
She has done so much work for, not only just a lot of women in power, but also I know a lot of people in like just minority groups.
Yeah.
Like the LGBT community love her because she's so like just powerful.
I never grew up with her because I was a weird little kid that listened to Gregorian chanting on YouTube for my music style. But she's one of those things that she's just a force of nature.
Yeah.
And she dominated so early on due to just her power and the level that she refused. She refused to give any of herself up. And she continued doing what she did. She explored new things, and obviously we see the repercussions of it, which is her being an insanely famous artist.
Oh, yeah.
It's... how do I say this? It's weird to define people as cult classics before their time as a cult classic is coming. But it's like, knowing Beyonce in 20 years down the line, we will look at her as one of the greatest artists in our generation.
Oh, yeah.
And
I don't think there's anyone in America who doesn't know who Beyonce is.
Yeah, even if like me, it's like I almost have never listened to her songs. I know who she is. I know the level of power she has, and her music's great. I'm getting more into it. It's just because it wasn't my genre as a kid that I never really got into it. But my God, I feel like that. Beyonce to me feels like a kid just squeezing the shit out of Play-Doh. Like, that's the grip she's got on me. She's just grubbing some Play-Doh.
She has ways to just hook you, man. Like, I don't listen to a lot of Beyonce either, but God, could I recognize any Beyonce song that you show me? Like,
I saw a funny TikTok that was like, the joke was Beyonce loves really fucking weird undertracks and like beats.
Yep.
And it was like, oh, I got this cool normalized beats, and she's like, what the fuck is this? And then it's like, he's like, well, the intern made this, but we were gonna throw it out, and it's like car screeching tire noise, and she's like, fuck yeah. Proceeds to make a #1 chart.
I love it.
It's insane. Continuing, people don't allow for women to have multiplicity. I think it technically is how you pronounce that. In rap and just in general. Like, if you're a woman, you can't do multiple things.
You're not you're put in a category.
Yeah, and that was a sort of defining argument in the 90s and 20s. Is you had a lot of women who were hypersexual with their rap and their performance. And it often received industry critics, and a lot of license were deemed or demanded and disrespected because it's like, oh, how dare you as a woman be this level of hypersexual? This is my body. You're hearing a man say it, but when I say it, how is it wrong? Kind of in the opposite end, the war that I don't think helped is we had the opposite, which was women who were very courteous and very polite in their type of rap, who didn't have that level of kind of self-owning. Not that they didn't own it themselves, but more of they didn't put it within their work. Artists McLight and Lauryn Hill were praised for their respectability in rap, which... It's not shocking that Lauryn Hill is a name we've seen before, where she had a lot of Billboard charts, and then to learn later that she was deemed respectable because her rap wasn't that level of, hypersexual dealing, talking about what everyone else is talking about. I don't know if she put herself in that box, or if culturally she felt like she had to rap in a certain style, or if she genuinely enjoyed the style she rapped in. But at least learning about this, it feels like that classic scenario of, I want to be in this genre, I want to be big, so I kind of have to do what people tell me to do.
Yeah. Which is so unfair.
It is.
It's just so unfair.
Go for her for making it big, though.
Oh, for sure. Like, I'm super glad that she, like, committed and got her dreams. I'm just mad that she couldn't do it her way.
Yeah.
You know?
Or at least it was... And I think what makes it feel wrong is that the public praised her for being respectable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's once again that classic argument of like, a woman showing her ankles, how dare she?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like,
cover up that shoulder and
yeah.
make the boys go crazy.
You're like, really? But while both legendary in their own right, the implication here was that they refrained from debasing themselves by wading into the erotics.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Light's version of Wanna Be Down remix was pointedly explicit and sexual, she said, I flipped a sideshow if you want to come my way, up, down, around, even sideways. I think it's a lyric from it where it's quite literally like, anywhere you can have me. Similarly, music most praised Missy Elliott's of Wah glaringly omits the bold sensuality in her music, even though her performance, or she embraced the desire as a fat, dark, black woman, is sort of paradigmed in her video concepts, where people praise Missy Elliott's. She got freak nasty in her videos, though. The whole what's the song called? Flip it, you know, where she's like, flip it down, reverse it, like that song. Lordy. And so it's a weird time where we have women being praised for being modest, and then we have artists being loved for being the opposite, but not talked about in the same way, which is, you know, she's respectable kind of thing.
So funnily enough, that's happening in like South Korea culture as well. I don't remember her name, but this was my mom was really, really into K-pop and a lot of that kind of like genre for like many years, and she had talked about this artist who was a full female artist who completely went off the norm, was way hypersexual about it, and was one of the most like popular artists within like South Korea. Who just completely like broke off from her group and did a solo act that was just completely sexual and did not give a fuck about anyone else. And she was also, I think she was originally from America.
Oh.
If I remember correct, I could be getting this very wrong, but she was originally from America, so she can speak like perfect English. And has learned a lot of, like, has basically taken a lot of, like, the American hip-hop culture into South Korea. So it's...
Because they are different, but there is that feeling of K-pop and, you know, hip-hop.
For sure.
Feels so similar in the energies they give off.
For sure. And that was one of my mom's favorite artists.
I love that.
So, yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of just... That's the little brief history of kind of... I'd love to delve more into specific genres and see their sort of timeline of, you know, can we see the actual, like, here's the first 30 years, or... Because some of the genres are very young, you know, starting in the early 90s. It's like, can we see the first decade of just all male artists and then see the increase in female artists? Or will we always see it be spread out and only popularity grow? Yeah, later I'd like to like pick specific genres or like a couple genres and really look at them individually. But do you have anything else to say? Because I'm gonna move on to my favorite artists.
Not at the moment.
Okay. Types of rap I'm enjoying, because like all genres of music, you find that subgenre where you're like, yeah, this is my shit. You know, for me, techno, I love post-punk, this sort of dark vampiric, synthy, but not like very bass heavy. And so for rap, I've subconsciously always leaned towards female rap, and I've always leaned towards the aggressive, hypersexual, like very quick beat rap. Just because I grew up the opposite of you. I grew up with all males, and so seeing how a very cis straight male views women is very gross. And I genuinely have a very hard time listening to music where that is the premise of the song, which is, you know, you're viewing a bunch of women as objects and as a body count. And so a lot of the female rap I listen to is that essentially, but just flipped of, you know, my pussy's so good, I got like 6 men waiting in line, and I'm like, you go, girl.
Mm-hmm.
You charge them each. So Glorilla is one of my current artists right now. She's getting huge in TikTok with Yaglow, which I don't know if you've heard of it. You probably have if I played it.
Probably.
Like
I'm just not on TikTok or YouTube Shorts much anymore. She
is obviously she's hip hop, but she subdefines herself as crunk, which I've heard before. But yeah, Glorilla describes her music as crunk and dominant, and she's known for her deep and textural draws. Crunk is a subgenre of southern hip hop that emerged in the early 1990s and gained mainstream success in early 2000s. And I have for each of these kind of how they're a little bit explained. Crunk is reoccurring chants frequently executed in a call or response manner. Yeah, Glow is like, yeah, Glow, stop a little pussy, yeah, Glow, and it's that kind of like back and forth. I was like, oh, that's so cool. I didn't realize there was a subgenre coming out of southern hip hop.
Yeah.
And the fact that she calls herself that, and yeah, her music is, I enjoy it so much because it is that like, it's the aggressive like beat after beat, but also that kind of repetitiveness which I enjoy in techno. I love Glorilla. I haven't looked deep into this one, but I played a little bit of I looked up Spotify. Memphis rap is a genre of hip hop or rap where it's characterized as low budget, using repetitive vocal hooks and distorted lo-fi soundscapes that utilize the Roland TR-808 drum machine, which in almost all forms of rap genre is based around this 808 machine. I'd love to look more into it because every genre I looked up, crunk, Memphis rap, hip-hop, dirty trap, was all like, oh, it's based around or like inspired by this Roland TR-808 like drum machine. I was like, oh, I don't even know what this is. But I didn't put any songs because I kind of forgot. But it's a genre of rap that some of these kind of were mixed into, that like when I shuffled the Memphis rap on Spotify, I was like, oh, I know this song, or it has the same energy that I'm used to listening to. Moving on to my main girl. I love Megan Thee Stallion.
Yep, we've talked about her before.
We have Megan Thee Stallion is hip hop. She is also defined as trap and dirty rap.
Yep.
Dirty rap is also known as porno rap, porn rap, sex rap, booty rap, or pornocore. It's a subgenre of hip hop music that contains lyrical content revolving mostly around sexually explicit subjects. Oh, and she's good. God, I love her. I wish I could remember the song that I have. But the premise essentially is just, I am a god amongst men, and they are animals, and they will just do whatever to be with me. And I'm like, yes, go girl.
Powerful.
Lyrics are often overly explicit and graphic, sometimes to the point where being comical or offensive. Historically, dirty rap has contained a distinctive bass-driven sound, which I found very interesting. And it rose popularly in sexually explicit Miami rap. And I was like, oh shit, the New York kind of that style of rap, which I don't know how to explain it. I can picture it in my head. And then we move on to like Miami style rap, which makes a lot more sense, very much more sexualized. Some of my favorite songs for Megan Thee Stallion is Hiss, Kitty Cat, Megan's Piano, Thought Shit, and Wannabe. Wannabe is a collab with Glorilla.
Oh, is it?
And so it's just like, it's two
so
artists
fun.
that I'm just really starting to love, and they made a song. I'll have to play it to you. I was like, God damn.
That's so fun.
Yeah. I showed you one of her songs. This is the one we showed before. Flo Milli. She is the one that does the Roaring Twenties song that I showed you.
Oh, gotcha.
And Conceited, which is another song that gained a lot of popularity on TikTok. She is generalized as more trap music, that kind of bratty trap. Also originated in southern United States. And I was like, kind of makes sense. Trap is music that uses synthesized drums. Is characterized by complex hi-hat patterns, snare drums, bass drums, kind of tuned with a bass frequency originally from the Roland TR 808 drum machine. And lyrically focuses a lot on like drugs or like urban violence. Makes sense, it's kind of from the South.
Yeah.
Love her. Flo Milli, Megan Thee Stallion, and Glorilla are kind of really huge artists. I've talked about her before, but I'm excited to see where Famous goes into, because I found Famous a couple months ago. She did a really very beautiful diss track on Nicki. She has very few songs. I think she's only got like 5 or 6 songs, and I almost love each and every single one of them. There's, Dear Your Majesty, which is the diss track. Get in There, which I've played for you because it has the elements of the Get Up Off That Thing.
Yep.
From, is it James Brown?
Something like that. Get up off of that thing.
And shake what you do better. Yeah, James Brown, which also plays in Robots. And it has that same kind of feel like, get up there. I just love her. And I'm excited to see if she gets big. And if she doesn't get big, then she'll be kind of a cool little, black female artist that has that same aggressive level of rap to it. Famous has a very fun line, which is I'm gonna have to play it, or I'm gonna have to look it up. It's Murmur. That's what you're looking for.
Yeah, I was wondering.
Yeah, I put her in the room. I think it's Get In There, where you could wait a damn minute. I see you.
I ain't doing nothing, man. I'm sitting here minding my own business, and you're coming in here attacking me and just making it all look.
I see you rubbing your
nasty.
eyes.
Oh, I'm rolling my eyes. I ain't rubbing my eyes.
Okay, I can't find lyrics, but one of her songs, she essentially has the lyrics of, he'd get up there like mashed potatoes.
Jesus.
Thick and creamy. Who the fuck is that creamy? Or like, who the fuck is that thick? And I was like, God, I love her. He'd get up there like mashed potatoes. Thick and creamy. Who the fuck is that thick? Because I think it, like, before she talked about, like, she has a bunch of men that she can call, but she has one that's favorite. She can always order, oh my god, what's that called when a restaurant makes a bunch of food for, like, an event or for a certain person?
A cater?
Cater. She can always cater him, and it's like mashed potatoes. And I was like, God, I want lyrical genius, but make it sexual. But yeah, I am excited to see where Famous moves forward, because I've enjoyed a lot of her songs, and so I'm excited to see her next song, because Dear Your Majesty was, I think, the most recent that she's released. And you've listened to it, and it is lyrically, she is very talented in how she mixes her songs. So I'm excited to get more into it. I'm still on the lookout. I kind of listened to a lot of Megan Thee Stallion, found the songs I kind of enjoyed. I love Glorilla. I need to listen to Flo Milli and then kind of branch from there. See what other artists I can find. Go back and listen to some of the artists that I've talked about from the 90s. Even if I don't enjoy them, it's always good to listen to kind of where, that music stemmed from.
Yeah.
So, but that's, all of my technical rants about the small history and women within rap.
Well, I think it was very educational and fun.
Good.
I definitely learned a lot about it as somebody who's definitely not a part of that at all. So, and yeah, women are strong. Women are great. They can do anything that they set their mind to. I believe that full-heartedly.
Yeah.
Some of the strongest people I know are women. So.
Mm-hmm. As someone who has no sexual desire towards, females or feminine presenting people, there's a level, at least in my eyes, that I've learned of just true respect.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because this world is so focused on seeing those types of people as, kind of objects, and, you're just a woman or you're just a female, but taking a step back, or at least not even being a part of it, and just being like, God, the shit they are put through, and that they continue to get put through, and then they continue to rise above. I just love them.
Yep.
And
I
really
like big girls, itty bitty girls.
I hate that. I really just hate men.
Yeah, that's fair.
And almost all genres of music.
Fair enough. Everyone has their tastes. Everyone has their values. I tend to lean towards songs that I can sing, which is a weird thing for me.
Very interesting.
Yeah, I tend to lean towards songs that I am like, I could sing this. I could have a fun time doing this.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Comes from me being a choir kid.
Yeah.
But even then, I find a lot of like genres that I'm like, I never thought I would like this, but I really enjoy it. And hip hop and rap has started becoming one of those genres.
Hip hop and rap was that for me. I found Famous and then went, I kind of fuck with this.
Yeah.
Listened to some of her other songs, and I was like, I like this specific genre of like rap, specifically female rap. And I'm like, what is it? And it's that kind of learning that's like that crunk, pussy pop, kind of sexual rap, and not even all of it needing to be sexual. Because Beyonce, which, God, she has some great rap musics. I've been on repeat Spaghetti and Yaya, which is from her Cowboy Carter album. But it's that aggressive, fun beat style rap where it's not slow, it's not,
it's crunk.
It's crunk. Because I do like the rap that is more slow and more of the classic 90s feel, but I didn't grow up in that. And so I don't have any nostalgia, which is what I feel like a lot of people enjoy from it. But yeah, so
I'm learning my type of hip-hop and genre, I would guess. It's more, I just find I gravitate towards these types of lyrics and songs. Political rap has been very... Because it gets me thinking. And, keeps me, not up to date, but just more aware of my, surroundings and where everyone kind of comes from. But also, I've been really interested in empowering rap.
I was about to say, you do love a good struggle childhood, but you rose up or something happens. I mean, there's a lot of songs you showed me where it's that premise of struggle, but rising above.
You know my past. You know exactly why I like that kind of stuff. What? Somebody who struggled throughout most of their life is empowered and becoming stronger throughout their life. Oh my God.
Do we just seek what we never had?
Constantly.
Do I just seek female rap because I never had women around me?
Probably.
Damn.
There could be a psychology to it. I don't know.
Call Freud. Get him on the phone.
Fuck Freud. Freud can burn in hell.
I have his number. I'll call him.
Sigmund Freud was an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But was it all in your mind?
Oh, fuck him.
Anyway. If you have any... I hit my tattoo. Our viewers, if you have any suggestions of any rap,
for sure. Tell us your favorite genres.
Yeah.
Tell us why they are your favorite genres.
I prefer not crazy mainstream. I'm not going to listen to Drake.
No. Give us some obscure ones.
Give us some fun ones.
Yeah, give us some fun ones. And of course, as always, comment, and subscribe.
Beautiful. Make sure you hit that bell notification
hit that bell, hit the reminder. I wanted to switch it up today. I wanted to say it and see what
how does it feel? The power.
Fucking disgusting. I love it.
It brings slight sadistic joy. But yes, we attempt to upload every Monday. Occasionally, we either have technical difficulties or
get
someone's sick or just not feeling well.
Yeah.
We had technical difficulties last week.
Yes.
Because by the time this will be posted, it'll be last week.
Yeah.
Episode 13. We couldn't get downloaded in time.
For whatever reason, our editing software was telling us that we couldn't.
Yeah, we bought the license, and then it was like, you need to buy the license.
Yeah, and it's like, you need to buy it. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Why?
We have it.
We have the license.
Yep.
But do you know what you're going to do for next week?
Not particularly, but I have a assumption of what it could be.
Okay.
I'm kind of looking into another kind of music one. Because especially since I'm going into the concert tomorrow, and I've just been finding I've been listening to a lot more just atmospheric music again, and thinking of stuff. So yeah, I think another music one will...
That could be fun. I mean, you're gonna have not stories to tell, but you'll talk about your experience within the concert. So it's kind of a perfect, like, hey, we're also going to talk about, we talked about this last week. We're going to talk about this kind of music or genre of music. Sure. So
because I'm really... It's been a long time since I've, like, had a moment of, like, I just want to be a part of music again. So I've been having that itch of just, I really want to be a part of music again, like a choir or something like that, I want to sing. I want to belt my heart out.
We have jokingly, me, my bestie, and their partner have jokingly, they're kind of serious about it. I'm really bad at actually performing music, even though I played trombone for 3 years. Reading sheet music is really hard for me.
I get that.
But we joked about starting a jazz club in New York.
That'd be funny.
Like a small little jazz band. So if you ever move, you're welcome to. If you are, I need you in like the classic 1920s boa tight red velvet dress, and then it's like I need that level of.
I can absolutely pull.
I want you in like just off the shoulder, around the body boa tight red dress.
Only if you guys can take pictures, and then I can put it on like some dating profiles.
Yeah.
I will absolutely.
I'll dress up in
because people need to know what they're getting into when it comes to me.
I want to be like the weird hats down playing the trombone. You never see my face. Yeah. I'm like, and I think
love it.
What did my bestie say? I think they were gonna do piano.
I
can't remember. And then obviously, my bestie's partner, which we know,
drums.
graduated with, or at least I can't remember if they graduated with a degree in music. I think they did.
I think it's music
and
theory
so
or something like that.
They kind of have a lot under their belt that they could do.
They're very good on drums.
Yes.
So
we joked about it. I could not actually do it just because I learned I can't sheet read. Tempo is really difficult. I'm a white person, so I have no tempo. So
funny enough, that same one that's good on drums and our other friend who's good at bass have talked about making a band. And
for a while.
Yeah, I was in the car because they picked me up for Dragon Realms, and they were talking about it, and I was like, "Can I just be the vocalist?"
Yeah.
And they were like, "Yeah, no audition, you're in." I'm like, "Cool."
I want to really find the outfit I'm thinking of for you.
I have it Jessica Rabbit style glittering red dress. I fully understand.
Slightly off the shoulders. It's
showing off just the bare minimum of cleavage,
Maybe it's 50s is what I'm thinking of. Maybe it's not 20s.
And it'll show off my hourglass figure that I absolutely have.
It'll be sexy. It'll be cunt. K-U-N-T.
Love it.
Okay, I can't find it. But yeah.
Yep.
Alright, I guess we'll see each other next week.
Yep. Anyway, that's all I gotta say.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.